Hello, everyone. Today is August 8th, 2024. And for this subject, it's actually pretty serious. And I wanted to get my take on it because it just showed up, I would say, most recently. But I don't know. It could be like 2 or 3 days ago. Who knows? But this has to do with a senator that currently, if you know this one, that was threatening in the state of whoever and who they represent, is threatening a second civil war. So if you're into the second civil war topic, then bear with me. And I know I haven't been posting a lot, but like I've said, I don't really do things because it's for fame. I'm not interested in getting famous at all. I'd rather just be these content creators where I just go around and just say whatever I feel like and come and go on my channel and post whatever I feel like, that kind of thing. But I'm starting to feel like that I'm being more like Corey, the way he's disappearing and whatnot. And I think that's kind of the route that I see myself going into, because he doesn't really do things for fame, even though he makes a lot. And let's face it, I mean, he asked for you guys' support, and I think that's what got him there to begin with and why he's so famous. With me, I'm not really looking for any subscribers. I'm looking for your guys' attention. That's what I want. It's either you're interested or not. It doesn't really matter. But to get on with this topic, I want to continue with the senator talk, right? A second Civil War topic, all right? Let's put in there. When I've already made one for King Frank, and for some of those who are listening, and yeah, King Frank, if you're ever listening, or Apple Lucky the Head, which I know you're probably interested in my content, and I'm very a fan of, and I'm also interested in everybody else, So absolutely put your opinion in the comment section. I'm actually interested in what you have to say, whenever it's negative or positive. I want to hear your perspective of it. Okay, so back to the topic. Okay, so I don't know this senator's name, and I don't think I really care either. But why does this senator is different than all the rest of the other nominees or candidates that are running this year and said the exact same thing of what this guy could have said? Okay, so let me tell you in perspective. So for a start, all right. How do I say this? So what makes this guy different? Well, maybe he isn't so different, but who knows? I think this guy kind of draws the attention the most. Okay, so what this guy said, for a start, he says that if Trump wins, he says it in the exact few words, and I'll post a video and where I got this from this video from, and it's actually from a really famous YouTuber who makes a lot. So go support this guy, and I will post it in the comment section to go subscribe to him. I'll put the link in there so you guys know who I'm talking about. But this senator decides to, I have no idea why he said it, but he must have some serious balls to say this out in the public. He says that if Trump wins, they're going to provoke the 16th Amendment on January 5th in 2025 to pull him out of the race, because they know he's going to win anyway. And I don't know if this was a serious plan to go. But it's kind of that's kind of the route that they're going. I have some belief that there's going to be some sort of civil unrest whenever there is, or whenever I say that there is. I don't think there's going to be civil unrest happening and there's going to be a so-called civil war in 2024. I don't see that at all, even though the possibilities of it are inevitable. I mean, we've been warned about it before. The January 6th, Texas is now backing away from the federal government ever since Biden was in office. And they're putting the middle finger to Biden, basically saying, you suck at what you do. Don't invite your border patrols because you're just laying them in and giving them free citizenship tests and a hotel for them to stay and giving them credit cards and jobs to work in, as everybody else in America is having to pay stuck taxes and not making enough in the cities. And it's only affecting the cities the most. The cities are the ones who promote the hugest thing, but somehow when you promote the hugest thing and a lot of things that are happening, this includes fast foods as well, those are the ones that are going to die down slowly when it comes to employment. The ones in rural are always open in job positions, but in cities, they're constantly full, constantly. And when that happens is that they're trying to look for a better opportunity to work in, but that's not happening because of that certain reason, because our government allows these corrupt politicians to just say, hey, well, we're basically controlling you. You can do whatever the hell you want. That's kind of the route that they're going towards. But yeah, I'm getting distracted. But yeah, I don't know what made this senator just say, and if you know the senator in your state or whoever they represent, this guy should have been in jail. I do not care if this guy, I don't care if this guy says, well, he only said a few words, like just to scare everybody. It's not like anything serious. But when you're inciting, all right, I will make this official rule. If anyone who provokes a civil war and say, oh, we know that there's going to be a civil war, even though some of these politicians have been telling you that we're so politically divided, then why are they telling you these things? Why are they provoking it? Why are both sides even provoking it? I've even said that I don't support either one of these sides, but this is wrong. This is completely wrong. When they know for a fact that they're not supposed to be provoking it, but they still talk about it anyway. They're still talking about, the left wants civil war. No, the right wants civil war. Both sides want a civil war, and our government supports this. They don't give a shit. Because they know it's kind of their plan. Everybody has a schedule. And let's face it, the government hates Trump. They know he's more independent thinking. And that's not what they want. That's not what the government wants to help make them more money when they know they can just print a limited amount of money. But that's what happens when you get rich, greedy people in our office, like that control our system. They use that on the president to get through them to help maintain that popularity or that benefit from it, even though let's face it, it's just an agenda that they always push. Whatever Trump gets in or not, I have a feeling he is going to win, and he is going to win. I know for some of you say, but he says, yeah, but if Trump wins, he's going to be a dictator. He's already been president before, dude. I don't care who you are. He's already been president. So, what's the logic of saying, he's going to be president because he has the 2025 agenda? He wasn't aware of this. Let's face it, the Republicans were forcing that upon him, saying, yeah, it's what Trump would have wanted. No, it's not what Trump would have wanted. Quit digging that out of your ass. That's not what he wanted. Ridiculous. He said he'll look into it, but he never said he wanted to approve any of this. The only reason they're doing that is because they're exactly proving a point. The Republicans don't really give two shits about Trump either, but besides provoking and acting like they're on your side, and the Republicans, let's face it, they don't care for him. They don't. They're just trying to put that civil war and the 2025 and the military draft nonsense that did come from that side, and they're putting that on you, acting like, this is what Trump would have wanted, and you're going to have to accept it because it's inevitable, acting like, they're provoking the left when they know for a fact it's the same tactics, same stereotyping whatsoever. But I feel like this guy that was provoking a civil war, and if that's really the plan, then this guy must have some, like I said, some serious balls to say, yeah, we know that the civil war coming, and he was aware that if they do this, that they're going to expect some sort of rebellion out of it. I know I say civil unrest, even though they clearly say it's clearly a second civil war. No, it's going to be rebellion. At least, and whoever said that out there during this one video that I wanted to post on Brave Wilderness, sorry, not that. It's a survivalist guy, so I'll put that in the comment section as well for his link. And what I mean by that is his video was for the Venezuelan elections. I don't know why people are so worried about the Venezuela. Venezuela is Venezuela, okay? But they think it will play a part. This kind of influence will play a part in the United States. Like, what if they actually did this? Well, I have a feeling that they will. They did it with COVID. Let's face it, they did it with COVID. They stole the elections by making dead people vote. And let's face it, the truth was right there. Because in New Hampshire, they labeled my grandma as a conservative when they haven't, and I can't believe my family was actually supporting this. And I'm like thinking, no, that's wrong. I didn't think about any of that at the time until waking up into 2010 when I knew COVID was such a BS. Was like so BS ever since it even hit. It was BS. It was over exaggerated. They're acting like that it was a serious thing. Yeah, people would have died from it, but they clearly said that elderly people were going to die from it. I've had COVID. It wasn't that bad. Sure, you lost your sense of smell and taste. What's so big about it? It was just like an advanced cold, except you just lose your taste and lose your smell and taste. Ooh, big deal. It's not like it was going to go away eventually. And it did. It did target the immune system, but it only went for like weaker immune systems. Like if you were a smoker, yeah, you weren't so lucky, but they act like it was so big and whatnot. Oh man. Yeah, younger people are going to die from it too. You know, that was propaganda. Acting like, oh, everybody needs to be vaccinated. Oh, including the young people that are probably healthy, that some of them are healthy, you're going to tell them, yeah, they have to, or otherwise you can't get the job. Oh yeah, they actually pinpoint that on jobs too. When the vaccine was a rush design, and let's face it, it was. I don't care which president enforced it. It wasn't your president that wanted to enforce it. It was your government that wanted to do it and pinpoint it on the president. Some say Trump was the one who rushed it. I mean, sure. If he was the one who rushed it, then oh well. The government was just trying to put that on him anyway to make him even more hated. Who knows if he actually did do it? I mean, who knows? We'll never know the truth. Unless our government keeps on hiding it forever, in which they always do. But somehow they will provide out fake evidence to say Trump was a very bad man. You know, we can't allow that. I can't believe even the state of New Hampshire was getting involved in that nonsense too. It was spreading everywhere. Oh, but just as long as your government controls the media and tells you what they need to know, then, oh wow. Good for them, I guess. Oh, well, good for them, because we're basically telling them, they're asking you to trust in the government, which we know the government's so corrupt. I mean, this goes for your politicians as well. They're the ones who are controlling them as well. Let's say so. They're getting paid. They don't really hate each other. The only thing the government doesn't like is independent thinkers and clearly knows how to make their own money. They want people that don't know how to make their own money. Let's just say Kamala Harris. For start, she doesn't look like she makes her own money. She looks like she takes advantages of other people's money. And I think that's kind of the route that they want to go, finding other people that don't know how to make their own cash or become millionaires. Trump was a prime example of an independent thinker. And they're saying, no, we don't want that in our system. Of course they don't. Because they want to find people that are easy to control and that are desperate for money. They're desperate into being in office and making their own money, and that's exactly what they'll do. But I know this topic was about a senator, but I'm going to say this in general. If this is the route that they're going to head to, then prepare for a shit show that will eventually happen later on. I can't believe this guy would actually say that out in public. Oh, and he had the balls to say it too, so I can't believe this guy. Really. He's really inciting that, oh, this is kind of the route that they're going. And I feel like a civil war is inevitable. I mean, look at the signs. January 6th, Texas giving the middle finger out to the federal government and Biden threatening that they would take the National Guard. But they didn't do it. They weren't going to do that yet. They know Texas was like independent thinking because they know their governor at the time was like, yeah, we clearly see the stupidity out of you guys. So, F you. We're going to do our own thing and block out all the immigrants ourselves, and that's not what they want. It's all part of an agenda that every president had to follow. Why do you think Barack Obama was like, I would say, kind of the worst president at its time? Well, sure, I guess he was pretty decent. I didn't really care for him, but he was still a puppet. So what did he do? Okay, so he fixed the last president's mistake by fixing the economy and fixing the immigration policy or whatnot. Okay, he gets in, he fixes it until later on this few years, then it's a mess all over again. So what does this mean? Well, we now go to war, and now our policy, now the border becomes an issue, and then it just becomes a shit show again. And then, here's what Trump does in office. He fixes the border, there are no more wars, America is America. But what was the difference there? Because every single president, like Bill Clinton, George Bush, and Barack Obama, and Biden, all those four presidents, except for Trump, sure, I guess we had slightly a war happening in Trump, but he ended it halfway. Okay, at least we don't have to go to wars anymore. Oh, but now we have to. Now we're about to, because we're funding a war that doesn't concern us to begin with. Oh, but now they're secretly NATO. Now it's our involvement as well. We don't really need NATO. Basically, we're helping them fund. Like we're basically helping NATO fund their whatever nonsense they want us to, and we're basically doing all the paying for them. Oh yeah, all the military, all this, yeah, because we know that these leaders, European leaders, are too weak to fund themselves. They know it. How do you think? Like, I actually have a feeling that Russia could basically dominate them. Could basically. I mean, Ukraine is a prime example. If we stop funding them, you know what that would look like? Yeah, basically Ukraine would be done. It would be over because it can't provide themselves. What about Germany? I don't know. Germany doesn't. I mean, sure, it builds up its own military, but I doubt that it'd be good enough to stop Russia. Really, Russia will provide the most cheapest and the most build, but that's what happens. I mean, that's just kind of how it works. I mean, let's face it, they're not putting as much money into their military besides just being cheap and whatnot. But hey, at least Russia's being smart, man. They could lose as many men and they lose as many vehicles as they want. But hey, guess what? They don't. At least they're still going because they're helping backed up as well by China and whatnot. And we're getting mad at them for like, hey, I know it's our fault that we provoked Russia from giving them what they want. Oh yeah, and but we're gonna go after you for basically two dumb people doing dumb decisions. Okay, so when Trump gets in office, he's gonna deal with that. Okay, he's gonna deal with that whole situation. That's the way that I see it. He's gonna deal with the whole situation. Probably not at the first beginning. It's gonna happen all the way. That Trump's gonna have to work with all of the BRICS nation. It's kind of the association. BRICS is just another way of an alliance between these 5 countries: Russia, India, China, BRICS. Yeah, BRICS. Sorry, 4 countries. Yeah, and South Africa is included. No, yeah, and Brazil as well. India, China, Russia, South Africa, and Brazil. Sure, those countries. But other than that, this whole senator threatening a second civil war is huge. Do I think, in my opinion, that a civil unrest or rebellion or a second civil war, whatever you guys call it, I'm going to call it a rebellion. Do I think it's going to happen either this year or next year? I don't have my beliefs it's going to happen this year. I have my disbeliefs. Is it going to happen next year? Maybe. I doubt it. Maybe the Democrats were just saying this stuff to be like too cocky and bold, but they've been doing stuff that were completely off the chart, like unbelievably illegal. But hey, the government covers for them. Basically, presidential immunity. How do you think none of these presidents that done bad things like Biden? Well, let's face it, he's old, but they made him do it. Like, they're basically kind of telling him that you have to do all these bad things. But hey, the media will talk about it. The media will do all this thing. But that's the point. That's the whole point. Divide and conquer. It's how you get two sides to get mad at each other and whatnot. And let's face it, when all these presidents talk about, except for Trump, they always talk about, if I get into president, I'm going to look into the Biden administration and whatnot. But in reality, when they talk about that, who haven't made their own single buck, they don't look into it at all. They just do whatever they feel like they're doing because, hey, it's whatever they're being told to. If Barack Obama was running again, he'd probably be another pet yet again. But, third term, can't do that. Only second. That would be unconstitutional, but let's just say they are putting, let's just say, by the way they're talking about this, I feel like I said, it's a rebellion or a civil unrest or second civil war is inevitable. Okay, it's inevitable. So for some of those men, let's just say it does happen for this year or next year, just so for some of you who actually do have a life, and I have a life as well. I want to become a filmmaker. I want to make my own films. I want to put out a lot of collaborations. And if stuff like this even happens, well, then I have no choice but to defend myself and grow my own food and live on my own. And that's not the route that I want to go. But hey, we all should have known in the beginning of 2000s this was going to happen. The more we modernize with our military, our technology, and the politics, the worse it gets within its civilian, within its citizen. We act like we have everything, and pretty much we do, but unfortunately, having everything doesn't mean happiness. You know, not as long as politics play a part in it as well, and that's unfortunate, because I think politics play a major part in, like, how everybody thinks. And trust me, I was aware of this as well. It's just, why? Well, why have these two parties? There shouldn't be any party whatsoever, because let's face it, your own politician doesn't really care about the party represents if they don't make their own money, if they're not businessmen. They don't care about the party they represent. All they care about is getting paid by your tax dollars when they know that they're going to just print more money and tax you for that money because you're keeping that money and you're spending that money. It doesn't make any sense in our economy. And let's face it, there was a video that I've seen that why did we fight the British over a 2% tax rate? Instead, we're not fighting over the 28 or 9%, whatever they like to put it, tax rate that we have right now. We're getting taxed on almost anything. And I don't understand what the common sense is that. Well, maybe the common sense is that it's brainwash material. They're telling you that taxes are good. They've been telling you for that for years. Taxes are good. They help fund the government. They help do this. They help benefits for you. Yeah, there are some benefits, but let's face it, they spend it on us because they know they can get a lot back. That's a pro of it. That's the pros of it. The cons, I don't know, it was either pros or cons is either bad, but let's just say the cons of it, the pros of it is good. You know, they get something returned. The cons of it is that it doesn't really do much besides the fact that they lie to you, and that's not the truth whatsoever. They've been doing it for years and they've been getting away with it. Is unbelievably sad. And brainwashing material that they tell you taxes are good, you know, but they pay you for paying those taxes. They charge you for the tax. They charge the income tax. They charge you on everything. Oh, what's next? The footsteps you take because you don't have a car? Yeah, they're going to have to charge you on tax. What's next? I'm very curious what else they're going to try to tax you on. Oh, there's a huge tax thing about being homeless too. I'm not surprised if there's going to be a state that approves of that. I'm not surprised. I mean, I feel like there already is, but what would I know what that state is that does that? I don't know. Who knows? But the senator threatening a second civil war is unbelievably stupid. It's either he's being serious about it, and this guy should be thrown in jail. And this goes for anyone who provokes a civil war. I don't care if your nominee is a Republican who says, "Oh, if the left want a civil war," no, throw that guy in jail. I don't care if he says, "Oh, you're going to talk about a civil war." No, because the reality is that it's just a plan that they want. They want to push it because they know it's a scare tactic, and either that scare tactic will become a false reality or it becomes real. You don't say that kind of stuff during the election. You don't say that kind of stuff. You don't. And this goes for both sides. You don't say that at all. You keep on doing what you do best and tell the people that the world's an issue. Oh, our border's an issue and whatnot. No. We know that all these signs of a January 6th and Texas right now giving the government a middle finger for letting all these illegal immigrants in. That's a serious issue when it comes from a state. I mean, some of us are not really surprised that it would be Texas that would be doing that. because they know it. Texas knows the lies of the government because their governor sees that. And they say, yeah, no, you guys suck at what you do, so we're going to push out the federal government. So basically they're saying, yeah, we're better than you, so that's a serious issue as well. Do they have the right to do it? Yeah, they have the right. The government's corrupt anyway. They don't like Trump. They're just pinpointing all these stuff on him. The government are using these two parties to pinpoint that on him, acting like this is what Trump wants, or this is what Trump will do. And you know what signs I'm talking about. Those people should not be saying this kind of stuff. They should be thrown in jail for this, and they should lose that money. Because let's face it, I doubt a lot of them who say this kinds of stuff, like, oh, the left wants me. No, they don't make their own money. It's awfully being loaned by BlackRock, which, let's face it, BlackRock does play a part in funding these guys. And BlackRock is a very huge investment company, but they're the ones who help fund these, how do I say this, political ads. You know, vote for this, vote for this. Yeah, it costs billions of dollars to do that stuff. If we're not spending billions of dollars on the military, then how about billions of dollars on campaign ads for propaganda and whatnot? Oh, yeah, that costs a lot as well. No, those people should just know what it's like to get a regular job instead of just living. Oh, but they have known. They have known. Some of them have known. They just want to be in a position where they're just being lied to. And I've said this myself. So for someone who actually does want to run for governor one day, and I will not, and eventually I will make my own money because I'm going to be doing my film industry. But I know for some may think, are you being an independent filmmaker, or are you going to have to live off from Hollywood's perfect? Well, fortunately, you're going to have to live off from Hollywood for a little bit. Okay, but then you slowly make your way off through your own industry. It's going to take me a long time too. But hey, I want to introduce a lot of collaborations. I want to introduce some really good movies, and I want to run for my own state of New Hampshire. I do. And what I want to do in this state of New Hampshire, or if I become president, whatever works, whatever I want to do, and it's not, and I don't want to use that power either, because I know abusing that power would make me a very cruel, evil person, and I would hate myself for being that cruel, evil, and evil person. No, what I want to do on the first day, if I ever get elected, they're going to give me a lot of money, because I know they say, all right, well, here's all this money, and you get to spend on whatever. Great. I want to spend all of it on the people. Oh, yeah. Have you heard that you're going to have to pay us back too? I think you guys got plenty of money to, well, how do I say this? I think you guys got plenty enough money to not say, oh, the politicians need to pay you back and whatnot. No, you get plenty in return. You print your own money, remember? And they charge the people for keeping it. Give me a break. Oh, the news media are going to put that on me. Probably my own state who would probably going to say, yeah, your governor is corrupt. They just spent $1 million on the people, and but here's a twist, they're lying to you. I'm going to have to come out in public and say, no, I've actually spent that money to help you guys, all the businesses, all the security, all these military. I've done that for everyone. So that way everybody gets a place to live. So everybody gets their taxes paid in time. And so everybody gets all the raises that they need. And the government still continues to fund me, I'm still spending it. Sure, I'm going to want to keep some for myself, but a majority of it is going to be spent on the people. Anything outside of that, let's just say National Guard deployment, no, we're not getting involved with that. We're not doing that. And let's just say there are governors who are threatening a civil war and whatnot. For a prime example, what I would say is, no, we're not going to be prepared for we're going to be prepared for a second civil war. And here's what we're going to do. I'm going to open up a program where it's going to happen on a military base, where anyone can just sign up for free. There's no cost initially. Where any person is willing to try out, just as long as you have your identification, and as long as as long as you sign the papers to say, yeah, I approve of this, to help defend, or you rather defend. It's more of a class to defend yourself type scenario. Because what I would do if a second civil war does happen and I open these kinds of programs, it's going to help you prepare for all the weapons that I will provide to the people as well. You're not here to fight the government. You're not here to fight your own National Guards that help keep the streets from violent groups of people that want to escalate things further. No. You're here to defend yourself from a group of people that are going to try to hurt you. That people will have violent actions. That's what I'll do. And if people can't accept that because they think, oh, but that's tyrannical. Like it's so mean and horrible. Why are you letting all these people become armed? Are you afraid that all these people are going to want to shoot at each other? Well, if that person itself uses that against you, you as an person have a right to defend yourself against that person who abuses that power over you. That's what I'll do. Helping you realize that you have the rights for yourself. Don't act like, some people need to stop acting like, oh no, let the government help us and what. The government doesn't give two shits about you. Besides, just as long as you pay your taxes, then I suppose everything is fine. Everything. But I guess it's just whatever. They like to spend the money whenever they want. Oh yeah, to help win wars too, so that way they can get a lot of back. I don't know why Anti-Profit says that the whole goal of politicians in wars is to not win them, but is to spend as much money as they want. That's not true whatsoever. What happened in 2003? Oh, you know what? I don't think we won 2003, So how did we win? Oh, I guess we're just that much of a powerful military. If it's a military and not a guerrilla warfare scenario, then we really wouldn't win a war. There's something about guerrilla warfare against us as a military, and we've been good with that ever since the Afghanistan war. But the Afghanistan war was an endless war. I would say it lasts just as longer as the Vietnam War has. See, the Viet Congs, from the northern side was influenced by communists, but they didn't have a military. They didn't. They were given military weapons, but they weren't a military organization, and they used guerrilla warfare. They used their surroundings against the United States, and that caused us casualties of numbers. No matter how many times we've dropped bombs on them, they still come back because they know how to use their surroundings. So does the Taliban. They don't need a military. The only reason we won Iraq war, because what they don't tell you, that there was a military involvement. Hassan Hussein did have its own military. And of course we won. We won that war. We won the city of Baghdad. We won because it was a military organization. Anything against the military that the United States is good at, just ask World War II and Nazi Germany. We decimated that country in under 2 years. I think, 2 years where the United States got involved. Through 1944 to 1945. We won that war in 2 years. How do you think if we were to win against Russia, how do you think how long that's going to last if we won against Russia? Probably give it 2.5 years and we would win that war if it was just the United States and Russia, because Russia is not a guerrilla warfare. It's a military group. It's a military coup. And with that, we know that the United States military is so powerful against military groups because it's what we've been raised to do, to fight other militaries. And we would win because we have the strategy, we have the numbers, we have the power, we have everything. Something that some countries don't really have. Sure, Russia's trying to compete with that, but they're not good at it. It's communism. It's run by communism. So there really isn't much that they're putting into besides, I guess, the military, but not on its people. So that's how we would win wars, And I know I'm getting distracted with the Anti-Profit. I don't understand that. Oh, we just fight wars. Oh, the whole point is to not win wars. No. The only reason some people can say, but he actually has a fair point, because if we're involved in Ukraine and we're providing them weapons, how come they haven't won yet? Because it all depends on the person that uses the weapons. Only we are good at what we do because we're the ones who made the weapons. If you give somebody else that weapon, basically, I think the reason why there are so many of our military equipment being destroyed out in Ukraine is because we just gave the weapons and just said, you know how to shoot, you know how to drive, you know how to use, then it's all that matters. That's all it is. I don't care if some people say, but they actually have training coops over there where they help understand how to use it properly. I doubt it, because they still get destroyed either way. Yeah, because Ukraine is basically just Russia with NATO weapons. It's basically what it is. I know for some of you say, well, that's very offensive if you think about it. Well, I don't understand. I mean, sure, Ukraine, maybe its own different nation and whatnot, but it doesn't have the numbers. It doesn't have the numbers. Russia does. Russia has the numbers. They've always had, because it's a huge country. Of course, they can draft as many men as they want because it's a country. It's a larger country than ours. They don't have the better economy, but hey, they can provide out with cheap material, and they can still keep on using that cheap material, and they still can win. I mean, basically, like I said, if we didn't get involved in Ukraine or NATO, Ukraine would have lost, because it doesn't have the numbers. It doesn't. The only reason they're not doing so well, either both sides, is because, first off, European weapons and whatnot, because we're getting involved in this stuff as well. It's either Ukraine is getting smarter or they're just still on the offense. They're acting like, oh, it's all about taking back your country. Sure. I mean, yeah, that's how it works against other countries. It's just that they're not using it very wisely. They think that they've been given powerful weapons. I mean, let's face it, when we gave Ukraine M1 Abrams, clearly some of us said that it's a very powerful tank. Yeah, it's a very powerful tank. How do you think if we were to fight against another country, against a tank that could possibly destroy ours, we would win? We'd still win, because we know how to use it. We know how to. And plus, we're smart with our technologies. With other countries, with some other countries, they kind of abuse it and act like, okay, just slap on armor. I guess, slap on armor. I guess we can provide some of this. But other than that, sure, it's a weapon. It shoots. It kills, right? That's all that matters. No, they don't take their time and effort into it. They just put out a vehicle and that they think it's good. Some even said that the Leopard is a game changer out in Ukraine. Well, sure, I believe that it is. But the M1 Abram, it could be effective, but unfortunately, Ukraine soldiers don't know how to use our tech. No matter how many times you don't, I believe everything is rushed. I bet we were so eager to say, oh, Ukraine could win the war, because it's all about winning on either side. It's all about influence. I know what NATO is doing along with the United States. I know what they're doing. They're trying to, NATO is secretly a part with us, but they're just trying to win the war so that we have something that's closer to Russia to piss them off even more. And to you need to back off Russia because we're powerful, because we are the United States. I think that's kind of what NATO wants. They want to expand. Just because there are foreign countries that are aligned together, they can act like they can align other countries instead of just leaving them alone and let them have their own countries to influence. I think that's the issue. It's influence. NATO is doing what Russia used to do when the Soviet Union was in power. Is influence. They're trying to recruit as many countries as they can because they feel threatened. Because they feel threatened that Russia is too powerful. Yeah, because they know that Russia could whoop their asses if we didn't get involved. Because we help fund them. We help all of it. They don't do it on their own. Some of them they do, but with those who are independent and rather not rely on either of those countries, I'd say they play it out pretty decently good. But if they're helping funded, then that's an issue, because they can easily lose all that. And they would have to rely on their own. Oh, man, that sucks. So, point is, I know I'm getting distracted, but this whole point was about a senator talk, and I have to say this, for some of those people, there's going to be a point in time where a civil war does happen. Don't panic, because let's face it, I'm telling you guys before that the signs were clear, right? I'm telling you guys to be aware of the reality that you might be facing. Whenever it's fake or reality, You can't expect it to just say it's a scared tactic because you'll never know when it becomes real. And when it becomes real, then you worry. And I'm not expecting you guys, and I'm telling you guys to not worry. Don't act like you're going to defend for your country, because I know in reality, some of us would be too scared to. We'd be too scared to fight and point guns at each other. That's not what we want. We're not violent people. We're only violent because we've been brainwashed to. That's kind of the current world that we're living in right now. And with me, I have no choice but to defend myself. I don't want to have to shoot at somebody just because they want to shoot at me. But hey, it's killed or be killed. You either kill or be killed. That kind of scenario. And that's unfortunately, that's kind of what our current United States is going through. We're going through a scenario where we act like everything is going to be over if we don't select sides. I say we cut the nonsense and just say, no, we're done choosing sides. We're done. That's not what we want in our current world right now. That's not. It's about time. And if we are going to have to head down this road, then you know what I have to say? We need to restart. We need to restart. Sure, let the battle play it out itself. I mean, what could you have done? Nothing. You could preach all you want, just like how I'm doing, but what difference would it make? Nothing, because they have brainwashed over millions of people brainwashed millions of people into believing this kinds of stuff. Some people, they brainwash some people to this kinds of stuff. And they make you turn around and hate that person like if they were a bad person. You don't know if that person that you are looking at could have been your best friend. They could have changed their whole life. This kinds of thing. Those kinds of things. Some people act like that if a second civil war happens, it has to affect the family-wise. Maybe it will. I believe it. But it's all about the people around you, too. The people you don't know. You could be making friends. Oh, no, but the news media says that they're probably liberals or Democrats. They're probably liberals or Republicans. That kind of stuff. So you can't really trust them. It's stupid. I'm not saying that, I'm those type of people who say, I don't want war and I rather would not war. But what could you have done? Nothing. Preach all you want. You're still going to be silenced for it. It's what the government wants. And when they know that there's people trying to silence you, it's the government's doing it. It's the government's brainwashing other people saying, that's bad news if you say that stuff. You can't be saying that. Which, that's kind of what they want. They're brainwashing the people into thinking that, when you talk about this kinds of stuff, that's propaganda and whatnot. Maybe it is that's propaganda that I'm talking about, but who the hell cares? Well, sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but who knows? Maybe your government told you. Maybe it's your parents that's been reading off the internet on their phone and telling you about this. Who knows? Who really knows? But other than that, I don't want to go to war with each other. I want to have a film industry I can work with. And for someone who have a dream that they want to accomplish, then go for it. But unfortunately, if this is the war that we have to go through because everything has to be so political and we know we have to fight over it, which is the most dumbest reason I've ever encountered, which that I've ever thought of. But hey, I think that's kind of the route that we're going. I think we are about to go to war with I think we're about to go to war with each other. I think we're about to go to war over the government because of politics. Acting like the left wants this. No, the right wants this. Either side. We're going to fight the government because because it's politics. It is so stupid. We're going to fight because we were brainwashed to do so. Acting like, democracy or America's going to be over if you don't select either one of those people. Dumb. All dumb. Very dumb. Politics, stupid. But support whatever you want to support. You just, and I'm always going to say this, realize the right and wrong that you will encounter in the group that you support or whatever group you ever heard of. Just realize the right and wrong and be a reasonable person about it. Because if you're going to end up negative, then you are exactly the point what everybody wants them to prove. And don't act like your own group is doing it for a right reason, because let's face it, no group is doing things in the right reason. When they say, Trump's going to help democracy, I don't care if he's a dictator, that's an issue. That's an issue. You don't care if he's a democracy, but you don't care if he's a dictator, but you care about Biden running for second term because he sucks at what he does? Give me a break. But imagine if he was how do I say this, a dictator. Like he says that if he was ever a tyrannical government, then there's nothing really you can do. He said that, actually. He actually did say that, which is stupid. But but let's face it, a rebellion, civil unrest, second civil war, whatever you guys call it, it's inevitable. Let's face it, signs were there. It's inevitable. So if it does eventually happen this year or next, or never, let's just hope it doesn't happen at all, and we come to our senses and realize that a two-sided party is not what we need right now. We can have it unless we can be reasonable with each other. But now it's being abused by the government. And no politician is really supporting this as well. But I do have to say, thank you guys for watching. I know this video is going to be really long, but I really hope that you guys are interested in watching this kinds of stuff. But leave an opinion. Watch whenever you like to watch this. I don't know if I will post any. I mean, I'll post whenever I feel like it, you know. Trust, maybe it will be longer, or maybe I feel like, I don't know. Who knows? But this was a topic that I had to be seriously had to talk about, because this is going, because if I didn't say anything, I'm not special or anything. But imagine if people like that say that stuff out in public, then that's kind of an issue. Really is an issue, and somebody has to say something about it. I'm just giving my take on it and what I think. But I don't care if you don't like this video. I don't care if you like this video. I'm happy to hear both of your sides. I'm a reasonable person. I want to hear both of your sides, whether it's negative or positive. You can leave it out in the comment section if you want. But other than that, thank you guys for listening. Stay strong, stay healthy. Stay smart, stay curious, and realize the right and wrong, because I'm saying this as a person. Violence is never the answer. Violence will never be the answer. And if you think that individual is going to save you from that violence because you feel like that they said it, you got to think of it as like this. There are different people who have said that before. And did they really promise a thing? Sometimes. But not always. So you can't rely on them, but you have to rely on yourself. You have to. Other than that, thank you guys for listening.